And good morning, everyone. Looks like Facebook has a new way of doing Facebook Live. It's weird. Anyways, good morning on a Thursday for their morning coffee with Marcaida. And today's thought is something to think about all throughout the day and play the game. And the game is, if you could, and you only need time to write down some things, keep it simple, maybe 5 lessons that you know of you today that you could give yourself in the past. What would be those 5 lessons? Or maybe keep it simple, maybe 2 simple things that you could. If that was a limited thing, based on your whole history that you know of yourself, what would you tell your old self? Something to think about all day, because now you bring in so many pieces of history, so many memories, that you have to kind of figure out, what would I tell myself to do or not do? And then think about, what would be the repercussions of that? What would happen from that? Because it keeps you thinking. Because that simple act starts to tell you about the lessons you've learned in life. We always talk about, mistakes are okay as long as we learn from them. Obviously, we go immediately to the negative things. But what about the good things? Like, do this because it turned out good, or continue to do this. So you start to learn from your past, not just from your mistakes, but also from the good things that you've actually done, and keep going with that. Now, this whole practice will start to actually give you ideas of what makes you you, and what are the exact things that you've learned from your past, because now you're writing them down. Now, even though you've learned this, are these actual things that are in practice, or it's just a fleeting thought? Because if they're not in practice, now you have a chance in the present to continue that practice. Because from learning from the things that you already knew now, which you're recalling from the past to tell the past, you're now slowly writing and putting into practice for the future you. Yep. That's a Twilight Zone moment right there. Wow, it's just a game. I like to keep my mind going with games that I like to play. So here's an interesting way to do things for the week. Now, when you start playing these games, it comes into habit that you start doing this. Like I said, everything becomes a habit. So when you start having these nice thoughts, or these good lessons that you've learned, and you're telling yourself so it'll make a better you, and now you're putting all this into practice, because maybe I'm not practicing this today, it's all in my mind. It's no good if it's just in the mind. You got to put it into practice to make a better future you. Now, if you have that, then I tell you, throughout the day, if you come up with an idea, maybe 2 simple thoughts, write it down over here. We've always said that a wise man, I've heard this, a wise man is one who learns from their mistakes. A wiser man is one who learns from other people's mistakes. Good things should be shared. So all of us have, I'm sure, our own truths, our own wisdom tools. So go ahead and share that with each other. Let's share it today. Let's start putting simple thoughts that we've learned that we wish we have done or will continue to do from our past. Something that we want to share. Share good things. Share good insights. Because, good things should never be kept. Good things should be shared, like a small ripple of water in a pond that expands for each one of us. Right? So I hope that we can do that. My 2 thoughts that I would think about looking in my past. Now, these things that I say are meant, obviously from myself telling myself, but they'll trigger thoughts in everybody, because whatever points you're going to put here or share or write down are going to be very personal. Because personal in the sense that this has a different meaning to me, but you never know what meaning it could be for others. And my simple one was, love, compassion, and kindness are a stronger fuel than hate, anger, and sadness. I wish I could tell myself that, because all growing throughout my life, I learned to use, there's a fuel in us. There's always a fire in us that keeps going. And you use that to harness the strength to do that. Whether bad or wrong, there's that kind of fire. And I found out mine was a different way. And I've learned throughout the years as I molded to replace that with something that was better, more positive. And that's the way I would share. I tell myself, understand this, because then I would have stopped. I would have learned so much and lessened all the negative things that had happened. I'm not ashamed of it. I learned from my battle scars and wounds, and I'm proud of that. But there's also another way to steer me in a different way that I know I could do better. All right, Doug Marcaida here for the thought of the day. Let's share our thoughts if you get that. Morning Cup of Joe starts, and everybody have a great Thursday.